Hi, Damien. So thanks for chatting with me yesterday. Today's the 24th of April, so you've had one day.
Yep.
And what I'm really thrilled about is you've done your homework.
Great. Good.
So thank you so much. So I asked Damien to sort of break down his day, his workshop day, into the different activities, styles, what actually is delivered. And what I wanted to just talk to you or ask you, did that take you very long as someone who knows that content?
Look, to be honest with you, it didn't, because this is a content, like a lot of facilitators, there's some core foundational frameworks that I use a lot. This is content that I've delivered a number of, I think from memory, probably about 500, 600 participants have gone through this. So to be honest with you, the actual getting it down 3 hours, I want to say in total. Yep. Okay.
So our next step, so what I'm trying to do with you is we're going to think about this program is traditionally run as a face-to-face program.
Correct.
And it's a day workshop.
Yeah, day and a half. So I've probably overcooked a little bit of content there. So so I sort of took the best part of these 2 days, put them in together. So I think I need to trim it down a little bit.
Okay, well, we will be, and in that process, because it won't be same. We're not going to take that and move it over to here.
Yep.
So really the next step that I want you to be thinking about is there's two kinds of digital offerings we can have. One is it's fully self-contained.
Yep.
It sits on its own and you play no role in it.
Okay.
And that would be something that a person buys or accesses and they totally take themselves through it.
Yep.
So there'll be recorded content, there'll be activities that's probably tracked and they'll move through it.
Yep.
What you sent to me is more of the second type is where it's blended.
Yep.
So it's a bit of themselves and a bit of them still coming in with you, which at the moment is going to be via Zoom or Teams or Skype, whatever that might be.
Yep.
So to make this a really streamlined approach, the first step that I think we need to do is get the content that is static.
Yep.
So we're going to try and get this delivered or built in the next week or so.
Absolutely.
So regardless of whether it's self-contained or it's the blended one, the static stuff is what doesn't change.
Yep.
So the content where you talk to the audience, it's a lecture style. So the next step is thinking about what is that and how we're going to do it.
Okay.
So that's going to require filming.
Right.
So I want you to think about what is the content that is static.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about filming.
Okay.
Now, have you done any filming before in the past?
No. Is the short answer. Yep.
Okay. So there's a couple of approaches we can do. We can go down the path of you filming yourself face to face. Now, I'm a really big fan of the talent, the person being the biggest feature.
Yep.
I know a lot of people film themselves as a little feature in the corner and then they have PowerPoint.
Yep.
But these are the decisions I want you to start thinking about. And I want you to think in the learner's shoes.
Yep.
How do you think is more effective? Is it the person we look at and they're engaging and they might be pointing to a whiteboard and then we might make the material available either as a pop-up or a link?
Yep.
Or is the PowerPoint where you want to lead and you're just in the corner? So thinking about those two steps.
Yep.
Once you've thought about that, we need to think about the how.
Yep.
So we can, if it's PowerPoint at your computer, we can record that with a product like Loom.
Okay.
Very similar to Zoom, but not.
Yep. Right.
But I don't want to tell you, but I think we need to film you.
Yep.
So your tasks for the next session are think about what is the static content, which you've basically brought that down. So think about what's the static and how long do you think that content will be? So that's the stuff that just you talk to an audience.
Yep.
Take away all your activities. We don't want icebreakers. We don't want any of that. This is content. I'm talking about the iceberg framework and I need to explain it to you.
Yep. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I want you to think about the how, and the how can be you filming yourself with a phone or something. But if to take out that stress, you might be thinking about someone might film you.
Yeah, I actually have given that some thought, and I've looked at some of your webinars as well, and what resonated with me when I looked at one of your stories was around, you talked about, I think it might have been an architect or a lawyer, I'm not sure, that actually used to take his students on tours. And your advice to him was to still do that, but film that. So that got me thinking around this type of filming, and also then, in my network, I've got a very talented friend who does a lot of filming and production. So I'm actually thinking about engaging him and sort of saying, hey, can you help me to create something just to mix it up a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that might be really nice because you're trying to get a really polished professional package. So you might have 3 hours of content that you're going to film.
Yep.
It's probably one day with a videographer.
Yep.
Might be tricky at the moment, but with social distancing, you probably can have the two of you in a room.
Yep.
And my goal would be to have that video done in the next few days.
Yep. Done.
And we can then start making all the stuff sit around it to bring it alive. So that's your project. What's the static content? How much is of it? And have a think about how you're going to do it. And I'll check in with you in a couple of days.
Will do. Terrific. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Damien.
Good on you. Thanks a lot.